Welcome all to the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how awesome Hiluxes are, also known as Tacomas, then this is the podcast for you. That's right, ladies and germs. My name is Tyler. Joining me in today's studio for episode 420, very special episode today, is Mr. Jimmy Jett. How are you doing?
Good, man. I'm excited. This for episode 420. It came out at 420 this morning.
It did, yeah.
That's
it's 421 right now.
It is 421 at the moment. That's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, super excited. This is going to be a fun episode, fun character on board. Definitely have some slang that we had to figure out.
We had to do some translations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Too bad this isn't a video podcast because I would be putting subtitles up underneath.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we have a fun guy here, not to be confused with a fungus, although he can be a fungus sometimes. We got Justin here from Morphlate, also known as Aussie or Oz or Oz. Oz is what we're going to.
Yeah.
Okay. We have Oz here and have a fun talk about the difference between Australia and United States off-roading. So I think it'll be a lot of fun. Before we get in there, though, we do have the giveaway going on this month with Moose Knuckle off-road recovery stuff. So
yeah, today is the last day.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Well, you guys better hurry up and get over there.
If you want in on this, for $350-ish of Moose Knuckle recovery gear. Today is the last day. You need to go over to iRate 4x4 and sign up to get in for that.
Yep.
Which can we announce next month? Did we get confirmation on that yet?
Yeah, it's all confirmed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we know what we're getting?
We do.
Oh. Okay.
So
do I know what I'm getting?
I don't know. Do you?
I don't know. I'm hoping there's something in there for me.
Maybe. I'll have to see. I don't remember confirming him throwing in a couple of others for us.
Okay.
But this is something I really want.
Yeah, me too.
So our good buddy over at Spartan Rope, Nye, ended up engineering, developing, and destructive testing a new receiver option for recoveries. And it's essentially a receiver that's designed and built around using a soft shackle in it rather than a metal bow shackle in the receiver hitch as a recovery point. So it's pretty cool. A lot of the issues with those receiver hitches out on the market right now is that the hole is too small. It's designed for a pin for a bow shackle, right?
Yeah.
You can't really get soft shackles through there, and they're kind of sharp edges. If you are pulling the hard, dynamic snaps on them, they can cut through your soft shackles.
Correct. Yeah.
So he designed one that is destructive testing very impressively. It's going to be ready out in market here very soon. I think during the month of August. So
yeah, that's super exciting for us. So it has a larger hole and some curved edges to it so that it won't break soft shackles.
Yep.
So in a way, it's kind of the opposite of the jowls that we're giving away now because the jowls eliminate the need for a soft shackle.
Yeah.
But this one's a really cool product because it's specifically designed to use for soft shackles. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty neat. So we'll get Nye on the podcast here for an interview to talk about his adventure and his story with Spartan Ropes. I guess he might have to rebrand to Spartan Recovery Gear instead of Spartan Ropes.
Yeah, maybe.
But he's a really cool dude. He's been doing some really cool stuff with Spartan. So he wants to get back on and give away some really cool items that he's launching this month. So that's what we got coming up for August. But you guys do have today, I believe, to get in for the Moose Knuckle jowls and the other goodies from Moose Knuckle. Let's see. So there's the giveaway there. We have the giveaway for reviews where we are bribing everybody for reviews. And Yokohama is helping us do so. So shout out to Yokohama. They've donated a set of tires, pretty much the winner's choice, once we reach 750 reviews. And we might actually be at 550 right now.
Maybe.
I haven't checked yet, but we were damn close last time we did check. So we'll check on that for this Thursday's episode coming up and see if we get to do a giveaway for a swag pack at $550. And then we'll have one at $600, $650, $700, and then the big giveaway at $750. So find multiple ways to leave a review on Apple Podcasts. You'll get better odds at winning a whole set of tires, 4 tires from Yokohama. Pretty much anything you want.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody that was entered for the winch giveaway for 0 to 500, you guys are all entered in this one as well.
Yes, sir. Group buy on the super winch is all done.
Closed.
You cannot get in anymore. So if you missed it, sorry, not sorry. Let's see. What else do we got?
That's it.
That's it.
I think that's
Man,
it.
we're short on giveaways this month.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny. All right. I guess without further ado, we did talk with Oz for a little bit, Ozed. So we will keep this section nice and short for everybody. And let's just jump right on over to seeing where this guy comes from here.
Sounds great.
Cool. Go ahead and grab your favorite Vegemite snack, everybody. And if you haven't, you need to go down and get some. And we'll be right on back with Mr. Ozed.
Are you tired of landing in potholes and bouncing off obstacles? To play at your full potential, correctly tuned coilovers allow you to float over the rocks and gain more traction. At 4 Wheel Underground, our full suspension systems include custom-tuned coilovers for your specific application. To learn more, visit 4wheelunderground.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentle ladies, kangaroos, wombats, Tasmanian devils,
And all the fucking snakes.
yeah, everything over there that wants to kill you.
11 of the top 15 deadliest snakes in the world.
Well, they just found another deadliest snake.
Did they?
Yeah, just a new one.
Is that another one?
Yeah,
in Australia?
Yeah.
Of course there is.
Yeah, I mean,
It's this breed of the top one and the second one down.
Yeah. It's just add one to the list, you know.
jeez.
Lovely.
Anyways, we are listening to a feller from Australia.
G'day.
G'day. His name is Justin. He's the newest MFer to join the crew here at Moreflight. And we thought we'd have him on to Snail Trail 4x4 to help enlighten everybody out there about kind of some of the differences between off-roading in America and off-roading in the middle of fucking nowhere where there's no civilization for 5 days anywhere around you.
It's a real off-roading.
That's sure. That's survival. Yeah. That's surviving.
Yeah. I'm not in a parking lot with my overland friends.
No. I am. That's the kind of off-roading I'm doing.
I know. I went over a curb.
Yeah.
Trail rated.
I almost high centered though.
let me get a Jeep badge for you.
Yeah, the Jeep badge curb.
Yeah,
the mall curb.
Yeah, mall rated.
Yeah. Anyways, welcome to the show, Justin. Aussie. Aussie.
Yeah, it's just been a matter of time before you guys get a celebrity on here.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
Kind of a big deal between.
Wouldn't it be Oz?
No, it's because
that's fair.
Well, no, it's because it's how Americans pronounce Aussie.
Yeah, but
you're an Aussie.
You are an Aussie.
Yeah, so it's easier to spell it phonically,
Sure, okay. But you guys say Zed, don't you? Like
Zebra?
if you were to say the alphabet?
To be honest, I've changed it so much I can't remember which is which these days.
He has different alphabets. Yeah.
He's a confused Aussie.
I do. It's like whatever you say, I generally say the opposite. So how do you say it?
Z.
So I say Zed.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
It's a zebra.
Yeah.
H.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Oz Zed.
Herbs.
Herbs.
I had a good friend. His name was Herb.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's coriander, not cilantro.
Is it aluminum or aluminium?
It's aluminium.
There's not that many letters in that word.
That is the scientific term.
Oh man. Yeah, no, there's times when we'll be sitting around talking like about stuff with Moreflight and he says something and I'm like, the fuck did you just say? And he says it again. I'm like, what?
Yeah. We're speaking the same language, but we can't communicate.
This out.
Yeah, it's just, it's just like, think of me as, you just nod and smile until you get it. Eventually, it'll work out.
That's what I normally do when you talk.
Yeah, don't worry. Yes, the wife says the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go through your vehicles first.
Oh, geez.
That way people kind of understand the experience, the knowledge that you'll be talking about here. So let's start with vehicles now, and we'll work our way backwards to, I think, your first car when you were like 1.
Okay. Well, right now
And how many times you lost your license and all that?
I plead I'm glad there's a constitution here. I can plead the 5th. So currently now I have a Twisted Customs Crawler, which was a 4800 race car. Previous to that, it was a winning chassis in the Calrox and Super Crawl series.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I bought that off a very good friend of mine, Eric Wicks.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my trail beast. She just proved itself the other week. That's another story altogether.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
She doesn't need shocks, apparently.
Yeah, you can drive the Rubicon on 3 shocks, just FYI.
And bump stop.
Ask me how I know.
Yeah. I don't need shocks with my leaf springs.
That's kind of what I told him too. I was like, I think I've been running for 5 years or so with only 1 shock. So
yeah.
Yeah. I know, leaf springs for the paws. So
it's just a little bouncier.
Yeah. It's a limit strap, really.
It is. And my bump stop.
Yeah. So, and then the other car in the garage, we have a JL Rubicon on 37s, soon to be 40s as a daily. Which a lot of my Australian friends are incredibly jealous about.
Oh, yeah.
Because running 40s on a daily in Australia is unobtainium.
Illegal.
Highly illegal. Straight to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then we have that. Previous to that, haven't really had many off-road cars except my first, in the US. When I first moved here, I decided I had to sell my baby, my Nissan Patrol. And so what am I going to get in the US that I can't get in Australia? What is it that is unobtainium for most people where I come from?
A Tacoma.
Ford Raptor.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, it's like,
They don't have Tacomas there.
it's a Hilux.
I know. Yeah.
That's not a Tacoma.
If I can bolt all the body panels on, it's a Hilux. No, it's the number 1 terrace car in the world. Okay, if you're going to change a regime, you're going to be driving a Toyota.
I agree.
Very true.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do here.
Yeah. So, and that's what the Raptor is what got me into the off-roading here in the US, because the desert side of things, it's all foreign territory compared to what we do in Australia. So,
yeah.
So I got involved.
No deserts out there in Australia?
Not like you do here, because the desert running in Australia is you're overlanding the desert, not going as fast as you can to have a little bit of fun, because the gas station's only 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a gas station 20 minutes away in Australia. And it's a servo, not a gas station.
It's a what?
A service station, a servo.
A survey?
Servo. S-E-R-V-O. Servo.
S-E what VO?
R.
R?
R.
R?
Like pirate. R.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people think the pirate's favorite letter is.
Yeah, R.
Yeah, but it's not.
What is it?
Some people think it's I, but it's actually the C.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I do.
You'll figure it out.
God damn it. Okay.
So going back to go forwards, having a Ford Raptor here opened up the door to a new world of off-roading.
So you're a Ford person.
I've never owned a GM vehicle.
But you just said you got a Ford Raptor when you were here.
Yeah, but I've never owned a GM vehicle.
Okay. But so you're a Ford guy.
Never owned a GM vehicle.
So you don't really have a Ford preference. You're not that person.
I just don't like GMs.
Gotcha.
Except for the motor. Because LS the world, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so having access to the desert and meeting all those guys, and it's being a different world, it kind of sucked me in, and it came full circle back to rock crawling and overlanding. So, but yeah, the friends I met along the way, just the idea of people off-roading here, it's completely different to what we do back home. You know, for us to get anywhere back home, it's a commitment to get to the trails. We're here, we'll just throw everything in the back of the car, and if we need more ice, it's 20 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what I do. I just kind of throw everything in the Forerunner, and I'm like, if I forget something,
I'll pick it up along the way.
Yeah. No, it doesn't work like that. If you're not running a fridge in Australia, you're a peasant.
Well, I view this people the same way here.
Yeah.
So
well, that too. But it's like, you know, I think the biggest thing for me to wrap my head around is Americans' obsession with ice.
Yeah, I don't fully understand it.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't get it. Like they need ice for everything. Now, don't get me wrong. I had an ice maker on my old patrol.
Yeah,
because who doesn't like whiskey, ice, middle of the desert, out in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a classy man.
Okay, sure.
But having to carry ice with you, that was that's always it's just mind blowing. That's I did that when I was 16.
Okay,
so I don't do that anymore. But yeah. Well, before I moved to the US, going backwards again.
Yep.
So I sold my latest baby back in Australia. It was a Nissan Patrol.
Mm-hmm.
So a GU, which is known as a Y61. So solid axle, 4.2 turbo diesel, twin locked, geared, all the fruit, winched.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could live out of that thing for 2 weeks.
So that was a turbo diesel?
Correct.
Yeah.
And twin locked means just the axles, both that front and rear axle
There's
lock.
no such thing as a triple locked vehicle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Some people might argue that.
Yeah, that's because you don't have manual locking hubs, or you was just put it in low range. Americans do things a lot differently here. I'm still trying to wrap my head around a lot of how that even works.
It's because it's better here.
Not
That's
necessarily.
Why.
It's always causing problems. Ask me how I know.
Mm-hmm.
The last place I worked.
Mm-hmm.
So the Nissan Patrol is one of the go-to vehicles in Australia. That's you have a full-size wagon, 4-door on solid axles, a stout driveline where if you break that driveline, you've done something stupid.
Are those the ones with the 10.5 diffs?
Correct.
Yeah. Jeez.
10-inch, 10.5. They're giant.
Mm-hmm.
The front axle is twice the size of a 80 series.
Jeez.
On a same size vehicle.
Yeah.
So, running big tires on that vehicle, it's easy.
Yeah, it doesn't care.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's Nissan really thought it through.
How big are the axle shafts?
Big.
Like inch and a half? Are you looking at inch and 3/4?
To be honest, I've never had to work on them because they haven't broken on me. All I've ever done is change the wipers on the ball joints.
Gotcha. That's how I know how to replace or fix track bar brackets on JKs.
Oh, they break all the time.
Yeah. It's a Jeep thing.
Yeah.
So
it's an XJ thing, actually.
Yeah.
Let's just separate it from the body. But yeah, so the Nissan Patrol you have two worlds. You have the Toyota Land Cruiser world or the Toyota Hilux. So you're either a Toyota guy or a Nissan guy.
In America speak, that's Tacoma.
Yes. So you're a Hilux or you're a Land Cruiser or a Patrol.
Okay.
So the Hilux has always been great because they had the solid axle until late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And then those vehicles are still, so we still had this. I think we got the solid axles a little bit longer than the US.
In the trucks?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the Tacomas or the Hiluxes.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, your only options for a solid axle was a Nissan Patrol, a GQ, which is the Y60 or a GU Y61.
Okay.
Or a 105 series Land Cruiser.
Okay.
So,
right. Yeah.
You guys not have the 80 series, the 100 series? Or?
Yeah, the 100 series. The 100 series was IFS and the 105 series was a solid axle. So you have a later model vehicle.
It's an 80 series frame and axles and all with a 100 series body on top.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
A lot nicer to work on.
Yeah.
No torsion bar IFS.
Yeah. Those are not fun.
Yeah, painful. then you get into your 70 series Land Cruisers. There were your other options. So everybody wants a solid axle in Australia. It's a more reliable vehicle. They're a little bit more forgiving with the terrain that we're on and easier to maintain. And no one likes doing CVs on the side of a track. So it's just one of those things. So so I had 2 Nissan Patrols, and then I had
You go out and race a lot
in Australia.
I mean, with the rigs.
No, that's just what we do.
So what's a track?
As in,
It's a fair question.
The track, as in it's like the trail.
The trail.
Trail.
So we call it a track, the old telegraph track, the Krebs track.
We go out to the track and we're like,
we're racing.
Well,
that's when we'll call it the racetrack.
Okay.
See what I did there?
The race trail.
Race trail.
That's
what the Raptors go on.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was very cool. I embraced America with 6.2 liters of freedom.
There you go.
Right there.
And an Australian Union Jack flag behind you.
Yeah, I did have an Australian flag on the back. Just for the haters.
There you go.
But, so yeah, it's a couple of Nissan Patrols, and then before that, I had another Hilux solid axle, what we call a dual cab. So what's it? A crew cab?
A dual cab?
A dual cab.
Gotcha. That's the one that Jimmy wants.
Yes.
You,
90s.
You actually have a dual cab.
I do.
Yeah.
That one is the Tacoma.
Yeah. So,
but I want a 90s dual cab.
Yeah.
Hilux.
So I had one of those. To have a body on the back, which is also known as a style side.
Hold on. I'm coming back. What's a body? You have a body on the back of your truck?
The bed.
A bed?
Yeah.
Okay.
We call it a style side.
Oh my this is going to be a painful episode.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
There'll be cliff notes for everybody down below.
Translations.
So that's generally the first thing to be removed off a vehicle at the actual dealership. A lot of people don't want the tub because it's
the bed.
Lack of a better term, fucking useless.
The style side.
Yeah.
The bed. Yeah. Style side.
Yeah. So you instantly go tray back. So it's a hay hauler at the end of the day.
Right.
Okay.
It's a flatbed.
Yeah.
So do dealers make like extra pools or something, like kiddie pools out of them?
They don't even come from the factory like that sometimes.
Oh, really? You just order them without the bed totally?
Yeah, you just see them turn up at the dealer as a cab chassis and they throw on an aluminium bed and call it good.
Okay.
What bed?
I don't know.
So an aluminum bed.
Thank you.
Pity you can't have subtitles on a podcast.
I know. We're going to have to
video this one.
Yeah.
Whenever Aussie talks, it'll just have some.
When you're going through the editing, you can just pause and then have like, he meant aluminum and then go back into
So still going backwards in the timeline. We should have done it the other way around. Then before that, I had another Nissan Patrol, solid axle.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. So I tried to avoid.
Why do you have so many Nissan Patrols if they're not breaking down on you? Or what are you changing about them? Are you like?
I just want a different one.
Just want a different one, a different color.
Yeah, different color,
like,
different setup.
This one's too blue today.
Well, my first Nissan Patrol I had because I got it. It was a 4.2 EFI.
Okay.
And I really wanted the turbo diesel.
So
it was still great, but I sold it, but then I didn't go to a Patrol. I went to a turbo diesel, like a Hilux instead. That diesel life. So the Hilux, and then before that Patrol, and another Hilux before that, and then I had one of my first four-wheel drives I started modifying was my Toyota 4Runner, an Australian delivered two-door 4Runner. Not a Surf, because a Surf was the import. So Surfs are from Japan, and a 4Runner is Australian delivered.
Really?
Same as US, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it was
I didn't know that.
It was a third-gen two-door 4Runner.
I know they made some second-gen two-door 4Runners. I never knew about the third gens.
Hang on, which one's a second-gen?
What he has.
89.
Yeah, so yours. Yeah. Same as yours. So second-gen two-door 4Runner, lots of glass, made me very nervous on the trails.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of body panel to be rubbing up against a tree.
It is.
So I think the ultimate question is, are you a Nissan guy or a Toyota guy then?
Oh, Nissan, for sure.
Nissan?
Yeah.
Sounds like you had a bunch of Toyotas.
I did. You know, as I say, you got to slay some dragons to get to the princess.
Never heard that one, but I'll accept it.
So, I mean, Toyotas would be better in the US if we had the diesel variants here.
Yeah.
100%.
And the 70 series pickups.
Yes.
Sorry, 70 series Utes. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's for our international listeners.
Okay, good. I did have to ask our buddy Charles Locke what a Ute was eventually.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was a specific style was a Ute. But really, all trucks are Utes.
Correct.
For us.
Yes. Utility vehicle.
I thought it was like the lowered, like car / truck bed, like an El Camino.
Kind of. That's where it came from. So then it just became a generic term of a Ute.
So what about a sport utility vehicle?
That's an Isuzu Mu.
A Mu?
A Mu.
Yeah. Isuzu Mu.
Isuzu Mu?
Yeah. You know the MU, Isuzu Mu. It stands for mysterious utility.
Okay.
There's some JDM trivia for you.
Jeez.
What is when I was in Australia, is it a Commodore?
Yep. Commodore? Holden?
Holden?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that can be a Ute too, right?
Correct. Yeah. That's the actual definition of a Ute. It's a sedan that's been chopped into a pickup truck.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So that's where it actually came from.
Cool. Okay.
Invented in Australia.
Yeah. A Ute.
Yeah.
Trucks, not so much.
No. Land of necessity. Yeah. So I don't know. It's like trucks or utes in Australia are just as popular there as they are here.
Mm.
Just because I have one, it doesn't mean I'm going to help you move though.
Right.
Yeah.
All the way back when I was like 17, that's all we could afford was Toyota Hiluxes. So that's what everybody wanted. Solid axle back in this. Geez, I'm old now. So that's like late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Solid axle Hilux. You're a king dingaling.
Mm-hmm.
Get the 3L turbo in it. It's a 2.8 liter straight 4 turbo
Yeah, diesel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Is that if you say the 3.0 here, that's a whole different engine.
well,
Yeah.
it's actually a 3L, which is very confusing.
Oh, here?
No, the motor is called a 3L,
A 3L.
but it's a 2.8 liter diesel.
That is confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, metric. Yay. That's where we started, and we cut our teeth on just doing dumb things,
Mhm.
driving things we shouldn't, because you don't want an IFS truck when you're 17 because you're guaranteed to break things.
Mhm.
Like a lot of the stuff back then, 20 plus years ago, was unobtainium for good drive lines and, chrome moly. Chrome moly axles. You were.
Was that even available back then?
Oh, yeah. If
They
you had,
make their own though.
Yeah.
yeah, chrome moly axles on a solid axle truck, and you were king dingling. Like you had the most unbreakable vehicle out there.
Mm-hmm.
You had to learn how to drive a limited slip differential with a handbrake and the clutch, and trying to not to burn out everything in your driveline to get up a muddy hill.
Yeah.
You get back on the road and you wonder why the RPM's a couple of thousand higher than normal.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so
You're slipping.
exactly. I got the Toyota LSD to work, so that's a win in my book.
Yeah.
About as reliable as a Toyota handbrake.
So how did you start off-roading? Like what was off-roading when you were a child in Australia?
Well, I come from a family that think cars are A to B.
Yeah.
So it's just me and my idiot friends. Let's just go do stuff.
On the way to point A to point B.
Yeah.
Or just-
They just like there's a little side tracks in these growing suburbs that you go play on, and it's called bush bashing. So we go out there, go bush bashing on these trails, and just doing dumb things. Oh, look, there's a mud hole on the way home in these, the new development areas. So we just go be stupid, and it's a rite of passage.
Yeah.
Try not to get caught.
Sure. It sounds like almost everybody's start, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I love mud. I'm going to hit all the mud in the world. And then you get older and you're like, I'm going to avoid mud like the plague. Not
I
going
will
to do
do
that.
anything I can. I will drive out of my way to not drive through mud.
Yes.
Like,
Me too.
I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I've had enough in my eyes over the years, but that's how it started. That's how generally my generation, the guys I was with, was just going out and play.
Mhm.
Fine, we had full drive action. It was a magazine that was like our Bible.
Mhm.
Like we all watch their DVDs and read the magazines, and it was like, oh, we want to do that. That's the freaking coolest thing in the world. So, we started hanging. We had our own pirate 4x4 forum called Outer Limits.
Okay.
It was
Oh, cool.
just as bad
As pirate.
as pirate, if not worse, because it's pirate with an Australian twist.
Yeah.
So
everybody gets called a cunt and
yeah,
all this stuff.
pretty much. If you can't handle it, but yes, a lot of it was a big small community back then in the early 2000s. So you kind of knew who everyone was. A lot of meetups and stuff. So we just started hanging around guys doing that, and just as we got better jobs, we had better vehicles.
Yeah.
We we weren't driving and clapped out old Forerunners.
Mm-hmm.
I mean-
What are you looking at me for?
I mean, you do have a Bronco now, but
I'm not gonna take it on the route. Well, I am taking it on the Rubicon. Never mind.
it's like, as I tell you, I didn't buy it to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's there to be used and abused and put away dry, not wet.
There you go.
So, and as you get older, your vehicles get better and your driving skills get better. So like moving up.
Not mine. My vehicle's kind of getting better. Driving skills are going down.
Well, that's only because you don't spend time on the trail.
That's true.
Yeah, you chose the middle of the year to work on your vehicle. You'd think by now.
Hey, I had the Bronco at committee this Saturday.
You got it down to committee?
Not all the way.
I know your wife listens to the podcast, so you can tell me afterwards. I'll just get in trouble for not taking mine.
Yeah.
So,
So what are some of the first modifications people do? And then I also want to follow up with what are things that you're not absolutely allowed to do?
Well, what's
That's
funny?
a long list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I guess in general in Australia, if you're buying a used four-wheel drive, if you're selling a stock four-wheel drive with no modifications, it's going to be very difficult to sell. This is just from people on my experience. If you have a minimum of dual batteries, a snorkel, and a bumper or a bull bar, as we call it, they're like the bare minimum to have on a vehicle to sell as a used four-wheel drive, because that's the first things people always do. Snorkel, dual batteries, bull bar. And that's like the baseline.
Okay.
Yeah. You can have stock height, stock wheels, but you got to have dual batteries because you need something to run your fridge.
Right.
For a week.
Correct. Correct. Generally, 2-inch lift, like average Joe Blow, they'll do everything they can within the law. So 2-inch lift and 2 inches on the tires.
Is it Joe Blow or Joe Bloke?
Joe Blow.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever said Joe Bloke.
I don't. Do you guys call people blokes though?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious.
Or
I've never heard it either.
I got
way,
confused when the term fella here is of someone of academic prowess, a college fella,
Uh-huh.
and then a fella in Australia is just another guy on the street.
I think I've only ever called people fellas as a
Yeah.
random person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about the academic prowess one.
I have
Yeah.
smart friends.
Apparently.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're just calling them fellas and they just happen to be smart, but you could tell it to anybody else.
Yeah. Is it a coincidence? Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, it's just 2 inches lift.
And 2 inches to a tire. Is that the Australian limit of what you
That's
can do
the
to a vehicle?
Australian limit. Yeah.
Interesting.
And each state's slightly different too. So I'm being very generalized when I say it because I'm
Okay.
from Queensland. So I know the Queensland laws relatively well.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, lockers are a necessity. You don't have a lot of wheel travel. You don't have a lot of clearance. So,
You have to have traction.
yeah. So lockers to get you into this shit and a winch to get you out of the shit.
Yeah.
That's generally how it goes. And there's a lot to be said about that too for the trails that we drive in Australia. Like just the guys from 4Drive 24/7 or 4Drive Action,
Mm-hmm.
they build their vehicles as legal as possible, and they prove that if you're not scared to run a winch, you can drive all these trails with a bit of smart wheel placement and just take your time. Like you see a lot of people out here, they build a truck and all they know is how to steamroll through stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it's mildly amusing.
Yeah.
Especially the Jeep guys.
Yeah.
The more trail badges they have, generally the worse of a driver they are.
Yeah. It is true.
Yeah. We didn't have really built trucks, so you just had to learn how to drive with what you had. And, the terrain is a lot different. It's a lot slipperier. So it's like dirt hills,
Okay.
big ruts and stuff like that. You're
So
driving.
softer traction surfaces.
Yeah. So
kind of
when you're
thing?
doing a hill climb, it's more of a commitment. It's not
Yeah.
uncommon to bounce either side of the rut just to get up it.
Mhm.
Whereas here you're crawling up the rocks and you're looking for the traction. Back home in the wet, you are just committed. Just
Is it like mud or is it more of a clay?
it's more clay, the red clay. Just as soon as you get some water, especially up in the tropics, up in you're going through the Telly track or the Krebs track and that stuff. It's that red mud. As soon as it has a little bit of water on it, it's a ice skating rink,
Mm.
and it's nothing's possible.
Hmm.
It's just constant winching.
I'm envisioning my truck just sliding all over the place as an
Yeah.
ice skater just
Yeah.
slipping around.
I've seen
Uh-huh.
great pictures of people go to a rescue on the Krebs track and it's raining, and all my local friends up there, like, these guys are idiots. They should have known better.
Yeah.
just
Wait
wait.
till a break in the rain.
Yeah, I know
And
guys.
a week later.
Yeah,
Mhm.
when the wet season kicks up there, you can lose your car for up to 3 months. It's
Yeah.
just park it up. She's not going anywhere. Catch a helicopter home.
Dang.
Yeah,
Wow.
I got plenty of friends that have done that too. They told them not to go, and there's a storm coming, and they got stuck on the other side of the river for a couple of weeks. Yeah.
I've had that experience on Ford Ice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not for weeks, but we had to make the decision to turn around and head out all the way up Meadow and leave because we were camped at Committee on the other side of the river, and the river was flowing so much. We're like, we're not going to cross it. We're gonna go the long route,
Oh, geez.
and we went all the way up Meadow, all the way out to came around and down and get our rigs.
That's a 4-hour round trip right there.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That's, no, thank you. Well, you always camp on the other side once you crossed.
we did cross. We came in from
Committee.
we came in from Eagle Lakes,
Yeah.
and we went across to Committee
Right.
and camped there. Right.
Yeah.
And then the
So
river
you were-
picked up. And
So the goal was to go back out Eagle originally?
The goal, well,
Oh.
yeah, because the next day we went up and played on 3 and 4 and then came back down and camped. And then that evening we were like, oh crap, that water is flowing and it just got higher and higher and higher and higher.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's flash floods in Australia at the top end that's pretty common.
Hmm.
You have to be very you looking at your weather reports and checking everything out. There's a level of safety that you have to manage being so remote.
Yeah.
So, we've had sat phones and stuff back in the day, or there was a company that would hire them out. So we would rent out a sat phone depends on how long we're going on the
week you're
trip for.
out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because you're checking in and GPS tracking wasn't like it is now.
Mhm.
Not like my Garmin InReach. Love that thing. It's like get out of jail free card.
Motorola has a new one that I just saw pop up, and I was going to show you and see how it compares to your InReach. But,
I trust my
yeah.
Garmin.
Okay.
Yeah. They're better satellites.
well, that's the thing. I don't know what satellites Motorola is using. So, yeah.
And I got Glenn Plake, the famous Glenn Plake, uses one all over the world
Mm-hmm.
for all his ski trips and his when he's out on the crawler and everything like that. That he uses it everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he swears by it.
Mm.
And he says it's gotten him out of trouble a few times as well. So
Yeah.
highly recommend it. Anyone listening, get yourself a Garmin InReach.
Mm-hmm.
It's cheap insurance for the trail.
Yeah.
For sure.
Cool. So there's all that. So what are some of the vehicle laws like? You stated no bigger than 2-inch lift, no bigger than 2-inch bigger in tires. Can you run smaller tires?
Yeah, you can run smaller tires, but
Interesting.
it's
What is the thought
why?
that bigger tires
safety. It's all safety related.
for what causes safety issues with bigger tires though?
Well,
Or what's the claim?
Well, technically, I'm not a bureaucrat, so I can't answer that question.
Uh-huh.
I haven't had a frontal lobotomy of common sense.
Uh-huh.
So, but yeah, that's just anything that's too far away from manufacturer specification is classed as unsafe.
Interesting.
That's just what I've read about it. That's my perception of the law. Changing the motor, that's also a big one. There's even changing the seats in your vehicle. You have to have it engineered and documented.
Interesting.
And you have to have a mod plate on your vehicle just for changing the seats.
I've heard
Wow.
that term before, engineered. I saw it on Mighty Car Mods when they were doing a motor swap. What does that entail? Like that means that you have to take it to somebody and have them look it over and make sure that
everything is done correct. You have to document literally all your steps, present it in a nice binder,
Mhm.
and have them sign off on it with whichever vehicle codes are applicable. It's like same as doing a solid axle swap. After everything has to be engineered and checked and double checked and proven, and then some states now require you to do the swerve test out of your own pocket, and if you fail it, that's your problem.
Jeez.
Yeah, insurance doesn't cover you putting it on its side doing a swerve test.
Dang.
And even then, if you pass a swerve test, it's only legal in one state.
You have to do it for all of them.
Yeah, I don't know the in depths of that one, but I know it's a pain in the butt.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So you're from Queensland, so you get it all engineered and approved for Queensland, and then you can't go to.
if I cross the border, it can be potentially illegal.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. So there's companies out there that they've invested the money on their suspension kits to get the ADA Australian compliancing for the swerve test,
Mm-hmm.
so that way they can sell a larger lift kit. But even still, it's up to the person to get them engineered and so forth. Like Mark's Adapters was selling portals for Nissans and Land Cruisers until it became illegal. So they still sell them, but it's now up to the user discretion.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So they just don't market or advertise them as road legal usage.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So even like bumpers, any bumper that you have on the vehicle, aftermarket bumper the vehicle still has to perform as per OEM specification with the airbags and so forth.
Mhm.
That's why ARB, TJM, Ironman, their bumpers are all the sought after ones. A custom aftermarket bumper is you're flirting with a defect notice.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we've spoken to Ironman 4x4 America about that and how actually I like their bumpers for that aspect. Is that even for the Tacoma here, that they just ever so slightly modified it that fit from the Hilux to the Tacoma.
Yeah.
But it's fully approved for all the standards of driving in Australia.
Yeah.
Crash tested and everything. And I was like, damn, that's a good selling point.
Oh,
for
yeah.
bumpers.
Definitely. Like everyone complains that the ARB bumper is too soft and flimsy. I'm like, well, it has to activate your airbags.
Yeah.
Like, it's a crumple zone.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to survive a crash. Your vehicle might, but it won't.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a whole different thought process of
Sure.
people here. It's like people here is like, I do what I want, which is
Mhm.
great. But back home, it's like we do what we can to not get in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it does bring up an interesting argument of, are you building the vehicle to withstand slamming into rocks? Or are you building the vehicle to save you if you get in a car accident?
Well, in Australia, it's just say they don't care about off-road.
Right.
They
They
don't.
could just care about ruse.
Yeah. As long as the cars, as long as your airbags go off, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And even still, I've hit kangaroos before, and there's not much left of them, and the airbags still haven't gone off.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you guys have like a vehicle code, anything that allows you to do big modifications to vehicles?
No,
Like can you build a buggy and then trailer it somewhere to play with it?
if it doesn't have a VIN number, as long as it doesn't look like it goes on the road,
Uh-huh.
you're good to go.
Okay.
So if, let's say,
Like say your crawler, your buggy.
my crawler's fine, but I can only use it on private four-wheel drive parks. I can't use it on Crown Land.
Okay.
So Crown Land is our Australia's version of BLM.
Okay.
So to use Crown Land, it has to be a registered vehicle. You can't even ride a dirt bike on there. That's not registered.
Okay. Wow.
They will book you.
I've heard stories of people who are towing their
Mhm.
vehicles that are not registered and they're going to be used at a private park and they're towing it to the private park and a cop will pull them over
Yep.
and cite the vehicle that's on the trailer.
It's not uncommon to see the police parked out the front of a four-wheel drive park writing tickets.
What?
It's all revenue raising.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Dang.
So, yeah, don't have a license plate on it. Don't make it look like it drives on the road, or put it in an enclosed trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Smart.
But trailers are so expensive in Australia.
Mm.
So it's just, there's traffic laws in Australia. It's everybody hates the traffic cops.
Mm-hmm.
They're not very nice people because it's all revenue driven. You don't get a lot of leeway.
Yeah.
So
You
we
get
do.
no leeway from everything I've seen and heard.
Yeah,
Like-
most places zero tolerance. So
Yeah.
you do everything you can to stay within legal parameters. But back when I was younger, I didn't care. Like, I want to run the big tires. I want to run the big lifts, and I'll flirt. I'll flirt with the law. But
Uh-huh.
and it also depends too. You live in the big city. You've got a 4-inch lift in your truck, and 35s is a big tire back in the day.
Mhm.
The old 37s, I guess.
Mhm.
You're gonna get picked up in the burbs, but I'm living in far north Queensland, and every other truck is lifted and got mud tires, so it's just you pick your battles.
Mm-hmm.
So if I lived out the bush, I wouldn't get picked on so much, but a big truck in the city gets a lot of attention
Mm.
because you stand out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. I assume there's limits on like how tall the headlights can everything be too, and how many headlights and because that would be the other thing for Australian, outback driving, where literally to get from point A to point B, you may have to drive 6 hours on a track,
yeah.
as you'd call it.
I mean, having
so like at nighttime, if you're going at nighttime, what's the rules on nighttime lights and having those on your vehicle? Is there any big ones?
Let me see if I can remember. So just like here, anything above the headlights frowned upon. You can
Okay.
get defected on, so roof mounted light bars, stuff like that.
Mhm.
They're not a fan of it. But generally, just a couple of spotlights on the front is that's just the industry standard.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of IPFs or ARBs. That's the go-to,
Mm-hmm.
or the Australian brands. What else? Light Forces.
Okay.
You set a Light Forces on there. You're kind of cool.
Okay.
Those are always you guys always had massive ones in the front.
Yeah, you got to see a long way.
At minimum 8 inches.
Yeah, that's
More
what
like
she
a
said.
foot.
Yeah. They like them big down there.
They do.
Yeah. Well, you got to be able to spot the roof.
Yeah, before you hit it.
Yeah, you're doing 100 k's an hour. The last thing you want to do is, spot them like at the last second.
True.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking for those eyes as you're driving down a dirt road in the outback. Like they're there. So yeah, just a couple of spotties on the front. Ditch lights are an overlander thing. I still don't understand those.
Neither do I.
Yeah. I don't get them either.
Don't get it. So
They would ruin your visibility.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
They're
And
horrible.
even a roof mount, not a lot of people run roof mounts that I've noticed, just because it's frowned upon if it's connected in any way, shape, or form. You can get a defect for one of those. Laws may have changed since the 8 years since I've been here, but best of my knowledge, it's still not allowed. But generally, it's just a couple of big spotties on the front. The ARB intenses were always if you had those, you're once again king dingaling. They're the greatest and the best, and it shows. I'm showing my age here, but switching from halogens to doing a HID conversion in my spotlights. You're the cool kid back in the day. Took a second for it to warm up, but when it did, it was dawn coming down the road.
Yeah. My dad was driving down the road.
Yeah, so it's lights, it's one of those things. That just, once again, you just pick your battles, whether you want to gain that attention or not. A lot of roof shooters actually had a giant spotlight.
A lot of what?
Roof shooter.
Roof shooter.
It's exactly what it sounds like.
Okay.
Yeah. Like kangaroo shooters.
Yeah. So
they'll
they'll
go out there and take them out.
Drill a hole in the top of the roof, and they have a big spotlight on a handle. They can spotlight the roofs at night.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot of country boys and Land Cruisers, you'll see this giant 12-inch spotlight on the top of their roof, and you know exactly what they do. It's generally a Westie that has one of those.
Okay.
Is that a sport? Or is it just a hobby?
It's an occupation.
It's an occupation.
Yeah. Contract shooter.
Really?
Yeah.
There's so many of those down there that they're like
some places it's plague proportion. Yeah. And it's, yeah.
Wow.
And there's no farmed kangaroos. All the kangaroo meat, all the kangaroo leather is all harvested. So it's
from the wild, from the roof shooters.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah. They've got very strict laws on how they're harvested and the health and how they're actually harvested. So that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
Why do they go out at night?
Because that's when they're active.
Oh, they sleep.
They're nocturnal?
Well, yeah. I guess it's easy to shoot them at night. You just spot the eyes and take them out.
Yeah, I guess.
It's like
they don't blend into the territory as much in the evening because the eyes just light up at nighttime on a light.
It's also cooler at night.
That's the real reason. There it is. I don't want to go out during the day.
Yeah. So I got a couple of mates who were roof shooters back in the day, and they make a good living.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's if done correctly, you can make pretty good money.
Is that like possum hunting in New Zealand?
I have nothing to do with New Zealand. So.
It's like boar hunting in Fairfield.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Pig in Australia, it's a pastime. Once again, it's another rite of passage if you want to be a country boy.
Yeah.
That's when you go out there with a knife, though.
Sticking. Yeah.
Yep.
Sticking.
Yeah.
Oh man, where's your favorite place to off road in Australia?
That's a real tough one. I always have to say back up far north Queensland, just because the rainforest. Going up through the Gulf, go up through the hinterland, so you have mountain ranges, rainforests, and then what easiest way to describe it is high desert in Australia.
Okay.
So up in North Queensland. So you have a spectrum of absolutely everything.
You got a little bit of everything then.
Yeah. So, and then, I've been down to Coffs Harbour and the wheeling and the four-wheel driver in Coffs Harbour. It's like Central Coast would call it. And that's some pretty tough, like mud climbs and technical, like hardcore stuff. Like don't be scared.
Okay.
Like
so is it more like East Coast wheeling here where it's just big rocks and everything's wet and slippery, so you just need high horsepower and big drivetrains?
I guess so. Yeah, I wouldn't say high horsepower, big drivetrains. It's just more commitment.
Gotcha.
Like just
more cojones.
Yeah, pick your line, stick to it, and just drive it.
Yeah.
Figure it out while you're doing it.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of that. Just walk the line. I guess this is where we're going, and just hope for the best.
Hope you hit it.
Yeah. It's just but a lot of deep mud, like the sticky red mud. You can get buried pretty quick. You take 3 steps and you're already 6 inches taller, or deep water crossings. Like I had on my last patrol I sold. I had a cutoff switch for all my electrical. So just in case I got stuck in the water, I could
turn everything off,
switch everything electrical off all my accessories so I wouldn't fry any circuit boards. Because there has been times the seats have been underwater in a 4-inch lifted patrol on 35s. So yeah, it's just one of those things living in North Queensland, all the water crossings, but it's fun.
Okay.
I said, I didn't buy my truck to look at it.
Yeah.
It's like, have it ready to go. It's like, you'll be drinking Friday night and like, you always want to go hit the crab track. All right,
Sure.
let's go. It's like, well, it's like here. It's like, you want to day trip the Rubicon? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, you want to go to Fordyce tomorrow? All right.
Yeah.
Let's go. So we take it for granted. Like, well, the guys who live in North Queensland anyway, so doing all those trails, it's the same as us living here with the Rubicon and Fordyce.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we just whatever. Whereas other people spend an entire lifetime dreaming of driving this trail once.
Mm-hmm.
And what do we do it like 10 times in a year?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So it just, having access to that and being ready to go, having your truck ready at all times, living in North Queensland, it's great. Like,
Gotcha.
Just within 45 minutes, I was off grid.
Yeah.
That's the best part about Australia. Like when you're going off road, so we call you guys call them overlanders in Australia. We call them touring trucks.
Okay.
Or a tough tourer. Once it's got, you lifted, locked, and all that.
Okay.
So you got a tough tourer, and you're doing.
So Rocklanders here would
Don't
be tough
ever
tours.
use that term.
What?
There's no such thing. But
They're
it's like
Rocklanders.
well, it's like
That's a tough tour.
yeah,
That's
a
a
tough
tough
tour. built to drive the Rubicon, but also live out of for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Rocklander.
Yeah, but we were doing that 15 years ago.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, everything here is about 15 years, but 10 to 15 years behind when it comes to regular Joe board driving. The rock crawling side of things, US is light years ahead when it comes to custom made buggies and all that sort of stuff. But as for daily drivers and capability and electronics, like 12-volt management and all that, America is very far behind.
Yeah.
Just because everything's so like the lifestyle convenience things are so accessible here that you don't really have to worry about being self-sufficient.
Yep.
That's a good point.
I mean,
Because you at one point you told us how like the vast majority of the population of Australia lives only on the coast or really like very close to the coast. And if you travel anywhere inland in Australia, there's nobody out there. Right. But if you travel, for 6 or 8 hours from anybody in America, you're going to hit people, or run into a small town or find somebody within an hour of wherever you are.
Yeah. You never have to worry about running out of gas in the US.
Right.
Whereas that's why I'm still paranoid about running out of fuel. I have 27 gallons in my crawler.
Oh, geez.
And I still get paranoid about running out of fuel. I think that's 2 weeks on the Rubicon right there.
About, yeah.
I could just ferry people in and out for a week and charge them. I'll sell gas. I'll just put a second pump and just sell gas on the trail.
Go. Yeah.
But yeah,
it's not a bad idea.
I know Eric did that the other week. He gave someone 5 gallons of gas. So, I don't know how you run out of gas on the Rubicon, but
you drive from the Bay Area all the way there, and then you decide to run the Rubicon without filling up because you think it's only a 13-mile road trip.
Yeah, but back home, you just have to be prepared. You got to make sure you have everything: food, fuel, water. I ran a 50-liter water bladder in my patrol.
How many gallons is that?
I don't know.
So roughly 3 liters per gallon.
Yeah, so 3 liters per gallon. I'm not
math man over there.
What would that be? 15? 15 to 18 gallons?
Yeah.
So
somewhere in there.
Yeah, so that was just drinking water.
And
then in my red patrol I sold, it had a water pump in the back, so that would run that water bladder so I could fill water bottles and
wash dishes
and stuff like that. And in the front, I had another water pump hooked up to a heat exchanger, and it could draw water from up to 30 feet away, so 10 meters.
Nice.
So just park up to a water source, and I could have a hot shower every night. Had a 3,000 watt inverter for my Nespresso.
Nice.
Got to have the essentials. Just because I'm camping doesn't mean I have to rough it.
Yeah.
So coffee is very important to Australians.
That's an overlander's mentality right there.
Yep.
Yeah. So I was doing this 10 years ago. This is not a new thing for me.
Yeah. I'm just calling you an overlander.
Yeah. No, I don't have an Instagram account dedicated to my truck, nor is it my whole identity. So no, I'm not an overlander.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
I haven't got a name for my vehicle. So
you don't?
No.
The crawler.
It's just the crawler.
That's a name.
It's a name. It's not the name. It's a verb more than a noun.
Okay.
I disagree. Okay.
All right. No, the other half decided to name a vehicle, and I'm still cringing over it.
What's the
Jeep?
The jail?
Yeah,
What's its name?
Scarlet.
Oh,
That's cute.
that's adorable.
It's even red.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
Yeah.
No. She bought stickers for it, and I refused to put them on until she got someone else to put them on.
I'm gonna make Johansson stickers.
And put them on.
I mean,
there.
I won't complain.
Yeah, you gonna take a ride in Scarlett Johansson?
Yeah. You put it that way. Yeah. But so just having everything available when you're traveling, everything from first aid, food, fuel, backup. So a lot of guys.
Do you build a lot of redundancies into the rig then too for stuff, your systems?
I used to. Everything. This is before Switch Pro days. So I always carried spare relays. Keep it all simple and functional. Don't overcomplicate it. So just everything ran off relays because that was always easy to fix, and spare parts. Like I used to carry a lot of spares until I realized it wasn't the spares that I was breaking. So, and then the more spares you carry, the more weight. The more weight you carry, the more likely you're going to break. So I ended up not even carrying spare axles or anything. I just carried spare freewheeling hubs.
Yeah.
That was my fuse point. Just blow one of those out on a Nissan Patrol. It's 6 Allen key bolts. Bit a piece of aluminum for the listeners at home, and put that on, and I'm fixed within about 15 minutes, opposed to pulling a CV out, trying to replace a CV in a workshop is hard enough, let alone on the side of a trail. So if you just build it smart, I'm lazy as hell, so I don't want to fix anything when I'm wheeling. Like I just don't like it. I've broken enough crap on the side of the trail or waited for other people. I don't want my vehicle to be like that. So you just gotta think it through and don't overthink it though. That's the biggest thing. I don't need a spare of everything.
It's different wheeling though. That's what
I guess that's
the
true.
difference,
That's
right?
different wheeling,
You're thinking Rubicon or Fordyce, right? You're thinking these crazy hard rock trails, which they do have rock trails there, but I think we're looking at it. I'm picturing it more as an overland trip, right? Their goal isn't to do the hard trail; it's to get from point A to point B on a fun off-road trail.
That's fair.
So, like for example, you do the teletrack. It's miles between obstacles. You hit an obstacle, you get through it, then you drive God knows how long before the next one. And so that was the Australian guys when they came here, took them through the Rubicon. They're like, it doesn't stop.
It's
like,
never ending.
Yeah. It's just, there's no reprieve. You just keep driving. And they're used to like doing an obstacle, drive a few miles, relax, do another one. No, it is non-stop.
Except for Ellis.
Yeah.
There's a little reprieve there at Ellis.
Yeah. But I guess that doesn't even.
So how were those guys? You kind of randomly ran into the 4-wheel drive 24/7 guys.
Yeah.
Sean O'Graham, all them over at Stellarbuilt.
Yeah.
One day.
Yeah. I was just doing my Morphlate delivery. It's what we do at Morphlate. We do custom deliveries. It's that customer service that we really strive for here.
So are you going to be heading out to Colorado here soon to deliver to somebody? Or?
I'd like to. By the way, we haven't spoken about this yet, but so I just happened to randomly run into them. And it turns out that they were just going to run the Rubicon. And
just like that?
Just like
that was their plan? They're like, we've allocated 4 days to the Rubicon before we start heading east.
2 days?
Okay.
Not including the day one at Stellarbuilt?
Not including the day one.
Okay, good.
So make a short story short. I just ran into them, and you're seeing an Aussie abroad, you instantly become kindred spirits and just start chatting. And for me, I got a little homesick. I could actually talk my real language, and there was a lot of blank expressions from the Stellar guys.
He's like an ESL person over here now.
So
you hired him for the diversity factor, right?
Yeah, it's the government kickback you're waiting for.
Yeah.
So, but we just started chatting, and I was planning to be on the trail anyway, and it just happened to be all right. So I called up a good mate of mine, Dave Pfeiffer, who's probably spent more time on the Rubicon than most people have.
All three of us combined.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You know, so I'm like, he was the perfect person to take along to help be the tour guide. And
Mhm.
yeah, we met them. We came in late Friday afternoon. They were probably not even a mile in. And they
Okay.
started at lunchtime.
Oh, no.
So
So
they're just barely past whale bones.
yeah. With that being said, they were filming a lot, and they
Yeah.
were kind of very overwhelmed because there was obstacle after obstacle. So they wanted to film everything. I'm like, guys, this isn't even the fun part yet.
Yeah. These aren't even named obstacles here yet.
Yeah, this is just the trail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, those guys, they gave a whole new appreciation of what we have in the backyard. Like,
Mhm.
they could not believe this was here.
Yeah.
Their excitement to be on the trail, their appreciation of how clean it was, how friendly everyone was,
Mhm.
and just the sheer beauty of it.
Yeah.
These guys have traveled all around Australia and seen things that most people won't ever see in a lifetime, and they still say that is the best camping they've ever done. So
That's cool.
it makes you very proud to have
Yeah.
that in your backyard. And,
Yeah.
and they got to meet up with Glenn from RTF and
Oh, nice.
really understand what the RTF does for the trail. And if it
Mhm.
wasn't for them, we probably wouldn't be wheeling on it.
Mm.
So, they're taking that information back with them and trying to use that in Australia so Australia's trails get preserved.
Yeah.
People aren't going to be abusing it like it used to
Mm-hmm.
here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those Australian guys, Shauno and Graham from Full Drive 24/7, riot. My face was hurting. These guys are just regular blokes like you and me. They're not. There was no
Joe blokes.
Oh yeah. Jeez. there was no celebrity status with these guys. They're just a bunch of guys hitting the trails.
Nice.
And yeah, my face was hurting from just I miss that shit talking.
It would have been fun to be a fly on the wall in some of their conversations.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Just to be like, I don't know what they just said.
Yeah, Dave
It's
was
so
like that a
weird.
couple of times.
Yeah.
He's like, "What? You just said that to him?" just so nonchalant shit talking.
Yeah.
It's
Cool.
just
That's fun.
So yeah, that was really good. That's and it's a hats off to everybody that's on the trail
Mhm.
who looks after the Rubicon. Like that's going to get some international recognition of like how well that trail's looked after.
Nice.
So yeah,
Good.
be proud.
Yeah, that's cool. What is your favorite trail over here now that you've been here 8 years over in the States and done some pretty cool off-roading? I mean, you've been heavily involved with more than a handful of off-roading organizations, entities, whatever it is. What's been your favorite off-roading now?
That is a really tough question. Because it depends on my mood.
Uh-huh.
It's like, do I feel like wearing shorts today or pants?
Yeah.
It's like, I love Johnson Valley.
Mm-hmm.
It's good because I can really push the crawler to the limits and like scare the pants off myself.
Uh-huh.
Whereas, I do love the Rubicon because it's just so beautiful and picturesque. And, it's nice to be on an iconic trail and the camping's great. But then Fordyce, like I'm full party mode in Fordyce.
Yeah.
Because that's where we got to.
That's the play around scene up here.
Correct.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The hardest trail in NorCal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, well, depends on your vehicle.
Okay. You think there's a harder trail in Northern California
Then Fordyce?
than Fordyce?
Oh, maybe.
Which trail? I'm curious now.
I don't know. I don't think it's that hard.
Okay. I wouldn't put my truck in the box in 3.
I mean, you could.
I could. Well, I definitely could. if it wouldn't come out looking like my truck.
I mean, if you winched, you could.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you could
He
get through.
doesn't have a winch though.
Not yet.
Ah.
I need to put one on
Hey,
before.
I know a guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to say one single trail because there's so much. Like even Slick Rock.
Mhm.
Like Slick Rock's just fun.
It is a fun.
It's a great family spot.
Mhm.
It's just, it's a great place to teach people how to learn to drive their vehicle.
Mhm.
I can't wait. Unfortunately, I don't think Barrett's going to be open this year, but that's
It
a good
is.
one. It is.
It's going to open
Yep.
August 1st.
So I'm not going to be at work next week.
A week from today.
Right?
So yeah, let's talk about my leave at the moment.
Yeah. How much your vacation time you got?
Yeah.
On his way to Colorado.
Yeah.
So no, I don't need vacation. I have my Starlink.
That's
So,
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ducey Ocean is on my to-do list.
Yeah.
Mine, ours too.
Ours
Yeah,
too,
that's like, for me, as I've gotten older, it's more of the appreciation of what we have,
Mhm.
and that's like being up here. Like I've I've done a lot of the iconic trails in Australia, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely amazing and breathtaking, like it is here. But for me, it's a new chapter in exploring. So it's like, and the trails I feel here we've heard more about than the trails in Australia, because it's I guess it's more publicized here. It's just like, I want to go see this, and I'm still in awe every 8 years, and I still have to take a moment to like, wow.
There's something about seeing nothing but blue granite everywhere that's just really impressive.
Yeah.
And I still feel like I can't get over every time I see him out on the Rubicon or Fordyce or wherever up in the Sierras. Anytime you're just surrounded by nothing but blue granite, it's just a different feeling.
Yeah. Like, the blokes from Australia, sometimes they just had no words. They're just trying to get it all in. It's like, I can't look enough to get it all in. It's
sure. The Rubicon's absolutely picturesque. Like the trails fun, the trails beautiful. But the scenery there too is absolutely gorgeous. Like when you can look back and you can see Loon Lake, it's fun. When you come over the hill over by Glenn's office, and there's that canyon or that valley that you're looking across. It's absolutely gorgeous. Buck Island Lake's gorgeous.
One thing that I didn't know, and I've been on the Rubicon quite a few times and never paid attention to it. But until we camped on the second night, Dave said, look at the mountains at sunset through the valley.
Oh, through the valley?
When the valley at sunset, the whole valley turns purple.
Yeah. Yep.
Blew my mind.
Yeah. That's like Barrett Lake. Out at Barrett Lake, the mountains, the granite mountains surrounding the lake turn a bright red.
Wow. Yeah.
Like almost neon orange red, which then reflects on the lake.
Oh, wow.
Every single sunset. It's pretty cool.
The alpine glow.
Yep.
Like, I mean, in comparison to the stuff in Australia, we have these picturesque views, the red desert, the sand of the Simpson, even just through the camping in a rainforest. It's insane, but there's nothing like I've ever seen it here. Like, I guess because I'm so used to seeing those things in Australia.
I mean, if we went there, we'd be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it'd be the same thing. It's just like, I took those trails, I wouldn't say for granted, but it was just there and I'm so used to it. So sitting here, it's like being in a postcard every single time. I've seen these trails since I started getting on Pirate 4x4 in the early 2000s. Everyone's talking about these trails, and I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd ever drive. And here I am, like
going up day tripping him.
Yeah, like it's like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, you have to go meet these guys on Fordyce next week. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So it's nice having a vehicle that it can just get in and go. That's always handy.
Once you have 4 shocks.
I'm just gonna put limit straps on it and drive around on bump stops.
Just bump those up to like 60 psi or something.
Yeah, just to prove a point.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
I'm very tempted to try it at Prairie City.
Okay,
just put the limit straps on, take the shocks out of it, and I mean they do it on RC cars.
Yeah.
I mean, like yours is just a large RC car.
Yeah, it's like I'm only as big as a Can-Am, so really it's not. I don't see why not.
Yeah. Do it and let us know how it goes.
Okay. Yeah, so, can we make it a work trip?
Nope.
Just in case I break anything.
Nope.
No, having seen what we have in Australia and how we four-wheel drive over there, it's a different world because four-wheel driving in Australia, you're still exploring. You go to the four-wheel drive parks and stuff like that, but generally when you camp, it's nothing like the campsites here. It's dispersed camping everywhere, unless you go to a four-wheel drive park or something. So you are alone. You're away from people. And the light pollution is non-existent in some places. So you really feel like an explorer when you're getting out there.
Yeah,
there's just something primal about it. You feel like you're the first one out there, and even though you're following someone else's tracks, you just know there's no one else around.
Yeah.
It's if you're really committed to like going bush out the Kimberley or through the Gulf or even, through in the middle of the central, there's no one around for hundreds of miles. Like it's easy to be in that position.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
Yeah. That's cool.
It's a different world.
Yeah. And that's a lot of the reason why I love the four-wheeling that we do in the States is because some of the trails are hard enough where you get out there and there's not many people that can get out there as well. I don't know if we have very many spots though where you can get somewhere and you're the only person within a couple 100 miles.
Yeah, you'd have to start really getting into the high desert for that stuff.
Yeah.
But even just like you start disappearing in the trails.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, you have your iconic trails up here, you know, Fort Eyes, Rubicon, Barrett, Ducey, but you start digging through the tie-in roads.
Mm-hmm.
There's some very secluded campsites.
Yeah.
Very secluded campsites. You know, and the only reason you know someone's around is because you hear the old bang stick going off. It's like someone has the same
old Toyotas.
Yes, that's exactly what I was referring to. Yeah. My peacefulness gets interrupted by a 22R on the rev limiter.
Yeah.
Or trying to start, right?
Yeah. It's like I think there's only 3 motors that you hear on the Rubicon Trail.
Oh yeah.
That's a 22RE,
Mm-hmm.
a straight 6 Jeep,
Or an LS.
or an LS.
Yeah.
That is it. Everything else is background noise.
Or JL radiator fans.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the AC is just working overtime. Like it's mildly embarrassing, so I just wind the windows up. I don't have to hear it, but I'm very nice and cool in my car. No dust.
Yeah. So did the 24/7 4-wheel drive 24/7 guys, they built that Dirty 30, right?
Yeah,
As they brought that over here. Is that thing street legal back in Australia with everything they did to it?
Technically, it's got all the mod plates and everything. It's as legal as they can get for what they've done.
Got it.
So,
because I know they built it up to pretty much come out here and play.
Yeah, and he was going to change it to suit what people do here, but he's like, no, like it's an Australian truck. Let's leave it Australian spec and drive the trails with an Australian vehicle. And that's what they did with all the other vehicles too. They bought a JK 2-inch lift 35s. It was a Rubicon though, so at least it had lockers. But they didn't do much to it. Just very, very basic modifications. Drove the whole trail.
The Tacoma had very little done to it too, surprisingly. At least drivetrain and suspension wise.
Yeah, Timmy from Mitts Alloy, they built up a Mitts Alloy to Tacoma long bed, and that just there's like 2 inches of lift, 35s, lockers, and a whole lot of skid plate.
Yeah,
yes.
He made use of every inch of that skid plate. But you know, it really goes to show that you don't need a fully built vehicle to drive most of the trails. You just have to be smart, patient, and do seat time. Learn your vehiel.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to have the best of the best. You just need to be patient and don't drive like a Toyota guy.
Well, we've said it numerous times that a lot of people overbuild their rig for trails.
Exactly.
Right? They'll build their rig for Sand Hollow, go out to do silly, crazy things out at Sand Hollow or, you know, all these crazy trails down in Johnson Valley. And then they come up here and they go, the Rubicon's too easy. Well, that's because you have a buggy on 42s with like all kinds of articulation.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like that rig, of course, the Rubicon's going to be
You
easy.
haven't had to drive a shit box through the trail.
Yeah.
You know, even Randy Slauson will take his Tacoma out. He'll drive, like, when him and Amber go out, he'll just take the Tacoma.
Okay.
You know, because it makes you a better driver.
Yeah.
You actually have to learn to not destroy your crap on the trail.
You have to learn tire placement.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's
where your diffs are.
yeah. You know, and I think that's a big thing. Like, you know, I've been wheeling, doing dumb things for a long time. So I've done enough dumb things now to know that when is a good time to be stupid. Yeah, like night wheeling.
Uh-huh.
Well, and I said that to some extent that speaks a little bit of volume to all these people that are jumping into the industry that are just straight up, you know, buying a Jeep, throwing full widths on it and going to 40s. They don't have the seat time. They don't understand, you know, the smaller tire and having to do all the placement because those rigs are so capable that they can just walk a lot of the obstacles.
Yeah, they just bulldoze everything through. And it's very obvious on the trail too, someone with a built rig. Like I go out guys with like Eric Wicks and he's been wheeling forever and you watch him. It's very calculated, takes his time. He'll drive everything on a stock Rubicon, you know, and you guys like, you know, hustle nuts, same thing, just very calculated. You don't need to drive like a moron, but if you do enough seat time, you can take any vehicle through almost any trail without breaking it. And don't be scared to winch.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing too. I love what Justin, Factor 55, said during our episode with him. He was like, dude, the winch is another tool that we have.
Yeah.
Use it, make use of it.
Yeah.
And I was talking with John Allen too, and he said that he was out on the trail one time and he had to winch one of his buddies, and the buddy's wife was like pissed that they got winched. She goes, "Man, you're not a good enough driver because we had to get winched." She looked over at John. She goes, "How many times have you been winched?" And John goes, "I don't know, too many times to count, like a lot, because it's a tool that I use. Like if you're not using it, then you're probably not wheeling enough."
Yeah. And the perfect example is the 4Drive 24/7 guys. Like they'll try, but they'll try to the point, all right, now it's time to winch.
Yeah.
Because they know that if they keep going, they're going to break it. Whereas here, you just keep going to your, it's almost like it's a trophy to break things on the trail. It's like, but no one wants to be the trail tampon.
No. Yeah.
So,
yep, I agree. I think that it's too much of a trophy move to break on a trail. And it's like, no. Like it makes a fun story later on, but it sucks when you're out there, and it sucks when you have to shut everybody down behind you.
Yeah, I'm old and grumpy now. If I'm not moving on the trail, I get upset. Also, being in the crawler, it's incredibly hot.
Yeah.
I get moody. It's like my beer is hard to get to, so let's just keep moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't get to it until we're at camp. So we gotta get to camp.
Yeah. So, but like I said, the wheeling back home, because we don't have fully built rigs in comparison to what it is here.
Yeah.
So you do have to be more careful about how you drive. We'll drive trails just as hard, but our tools are a little more limited. So you have to get creative on how you traverse obstacles.
Yeah.
So, and not be scared.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, thanks for taking an hour, almost hour and a half here to sit down and check in with the podcast and tell us a little bit about wheeling in Australia versus wheeling in States here, and kind of the different vehicles you've been through. It's been fun, man.
Yeah, that's only just a couple of the vehicles.
I know, right? That's not getting into any of your race car vehicles.
Yeah, the ones that I really lost my license in.
Yeah.
I was going to ask about that in my closing statement, so now I got to think of another thing. So what's up? You've lost how many licenses? What's this story?
Well, I averaged once a year every year for 10 years.
How many licenses did you have?
One.
How do you lose one a year?
Just demerit points.
By just doing silly stuff?
Just being an idiot.
Just being young?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was dumb on the road, but I can safely say I've never, ever been drink driving.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's mainly street racing.
Yeah.
That's good.
Excellent.
Because Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Did you have some of those cars too?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, that's the whole slew of cars from there.
Yeah, I was a machinist and building drag cars straight out of high school.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
That's fun.
So
That's why we went up to Ori's one time, and we ended up there for 4 hours from him and Ori comparing notes about street racing cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From those wild things that Ori does up in the hills.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. It's only illegal if you get caught.
Yeah.
Well, sweet. If anybody has any questions for you, can they reach out to you on Instagram, or do you want to have to go through the podcast?
Yeah. Instagram's Kui88, KHOOIE 88. That's me. You'll see my purple people eater on there.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to reach out and go wheeling, I'm always down. Tyler lets me go on the trail for work, so just
it's true.
Let everyone know on the podcast that I am working if you invite me out on the trail.
Yep. Yeah, it's he's the Morphlate social butterfly is kind of what his new job description or his job title is. So
I'm a man of leisure.
Yeah. Sweet. Jimmy, if people want to give us feedback or anything, how do they do that?
Yeah, you can reach us over on Instagram. I'm at Snail Trail 4x4. Tyler's at 4x4 Toyota Tyler. You can email us, Jimmy or Tyler, at snailtrail4x4.com, or you can phone in and leave us a message. All you Aussie guys out there, feel free to call in and correct this Aussie on his grammar or his slang. You can do that at area code 916-345-4744.
And you need the country code on top of that if they're from Australia calling in.
Yeah, because the phones were invented in America, our country code is number 1.
Perfect.
Australia is +61, so we're a little down there.
Yeah, it was 61 countries before Australia got the phones.
Yep.
Yeah. We're still kind of isolated.
They were using carrier pigeons.
Yeah. I explained how carrier pigeons work to the mini assistant the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did she want to get one now?
No.
Okay. All right. So with that, Jimmy, any final words for everybody out there?
I want to go back.
Go back to like
Down
the
under.
beginning? Oh, down under?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can drink with them again? Outdrink
I can't outdrink them now. No, back after college, I did surprise some Australians by how well I could drink, and Kiwis. But yeah, now, no, there's no way. No fucking way.
Mr. Aussie over there, any final words for everybody?
Just be proud of what we have here in Northern California. Like it's really amazing to hear an international group of people think it's some of the best trails they've ever seen. So
yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, don't take it for granted what we have in our backyard.
And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
Hey, Aussie, got any jokes?
I got ones that will get you demonetized.
That's okay.
So you know, koi fish always swim around in packs of 4.
You know this one?
No.
Okay.
So yeah, I was watching Nat Geo the other day, and so koi fish, if you ever notice in a pond, they always swim out in packs of 4.
Okay.
So what they found out is that when there's a threat, like a predator, koi fishes A, B, and C will leave, and then you're just left with a decoy.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Jimmy's stamp of approval on a dad joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to use that.
That's as good as I get with dad jokes.